What is going on, everybody? We're back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Tuesday, February 6th, fresh off of a huge Monday Night Raw. Obviously, we have tons to talk about in regards to last night's episode of Raw. We've got this press conference coming up on Thursday, looming in the distance. We saw some stuff last night. We heard some "We Want Cody" chants. We've got all kinds of stuff going on today. And so I'm going to need two of my most esteemed and favorite colleagues to help me break this one down. First, I'm going to have to send this one out to Wales for the host to take it to the table, Mr. Chaos. It is RC Tuesday. Once again, it's back.
Yes. What's up, everybody? Wow. Imagine I go away for a week, enjoy myself at Disneyland Paris. You know, obviously it was for my little man, but you know, it was my childhood memories, not his. And you know, went and proposed to my other half. So you know, sorry, ladies, I'm off the table now. So you had your chance. I'm off the market. And the whole not only does WWE do some madness, but you know, Ben is going and doing some absurd reels, and with all the feedback, he's just sitting there. Why am I getting all the hate? Like, dummy. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm here for a new, fresh week of wrestling. And yeah, it can only get better, right? Let's get straight to it.
I was going to say, last week was a heck of a week for both of us, Chaos.
Jeez.
You hit Disneyland Paris. Congratulations also, by the way, on the engagement and everything. That's amazing. And I hit 130K views on a mostly hated reel in the same week. But
all is well in Wrestling Republic.
All is going well. Either way, I gotta also talk about a dude that has put in the work on multiple shows the last 2 weeks. Once again, I'm reintroducing all the way out in Scotland, Soul Man. How are you today? I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
Yeah, well, you can get me rid of that easily. You know, it's nice to see, you know, Chaos, my man, wedded up and marriage fingers. Obviously, it's great to see my friend. If I had a party popper with a pop tip, but that's not in the budget. But hey, you're getting wedded up and Cody's getting cut. So, you know, good things are going around, I guess. So let's get on with the show.
I just got a great new blazer, though. If you need a late minute invite to the wedding, I'm there, Chaos.
I don't think he wants us there because we would
passports renewed.
I would be under the table, passed out, and you'd be like,
before the ceremony.
Cody can't finish the story.
I don't know, though. The dance floor, I think we would make fun. I feel like
bro, you're gonna be very surprised where it's gonna be heading, but we'll talk about that off camera.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah, no, this is about Monday Night Raw. By the way, we will talk about all of that later. And speaking of Monday Night Raw, let's talk about that opening promo. We got Cody Rhodes, we got Seth Rollins. Interestingly enough, of course, the crowd chanted the old hashtag "We Want Cody" pretty loudly throughout the segment. It was an interesting back and forth. And then we had a bull rope match. So Chaos, I gotta ask you, man, what's going on here? Because are we really gonna break down the entire bull rope match and this promo without talking about the elephant in the room? That is the "We Want Cody" chants and whatnot. I gotta ask you, what were your thoughts on the whole thing?
Boy, I feel so bad for Seth. It was, I mean, obviously he came out good pop, you know, did his stick, he even acknowledged it about him having big pops, and Oli said like, well, I definitely smelled what was cooking on Friday, and then the whole place just completely stank out the joint, and rightfully so. You know, Cody has got done dirty, but at the same time, I think when it happened. Me personally, I think everyone was kind of jumping too far ahead. Obviously, when you saw that image of Rock and Reigns just there, it was just like you just automatically assumed that this was like, it's Vince back in the back. What's going on? Like, but yeah, the whole thing was done well. Like you could tell, like even when Cody came out, you could see the emotion on his face, like when they were chanting his name and whatnot. You could feel the passion. He wanted to. If it was like he was trying to say, like, "Yo, thank you. Tell them back there we don't want this." But yeah, it was about to obviously unveil his answer. Is he going to face Seth? And obviously, big man Drew came out and obviously ruined the party. But obviously, he's on Team Cody somewhat. You know, he said, like, you need to finish your story. You know, what are you doing? You're an idiot. And rightfully. Yeah, he brandished the CM Punk shirt, which is awesome, by the way. I might have to get 2 of those. And yeah, he still wants to have his match against Seth, even though, you know, he's lost twice already. But he's still complaining that he has shenanigans. Yeah, I feel like going back on the Cody thing. I think that we shouldn't panic. I feel like that they hear the outpour. I don't think it's going to be similar to a Daniel Bryan situation. The Daniel Bryan situation was kind of different because they wholeheartedly did not see Daniel Bryan, like, realistically as a main eventer, and they didn't want that. But instead of, you know, having like a really sour note to the pay-per-view, they conceded in. Well, Vince conceded. So this time I think they just wait until Thursday, until you actually see the graphic. If it is going to be Rock and Reigns, okay, then Hellfire and Brimstone, get your pitchforks, definitely. But I feel like that, as I said off camera or off air, I said that, you know, Rock is someone that wants to do something that's never been done before. He's, you know, he named the main event of WrestleMania a year ahead. He has the fastest WrestleMania match in history. Him cutting in front of Cody, you know, the winner of the Royal Rumble, sure, that's something that's never been done before, but I feel like there's something more to it. So I say wait until Thursday, see what happens, and then go from there. Now, regarding the match, it was fine. I kind of forgot about this feud. But yeah, it was a Bull Roar match. It was a kind of, you know, a rushed way to reintroduce this kind of match. I feel like this is something that could be used in the blood feud, like it did with JBL and Eddie Guerrero. But yeah, it was fine. It was a typical Raw match. I feel bad for Shinsuke at the end of this because, yeah, he just gets nothing out of it. Even if he did win, he probably didn't really get much out of it. But it was what it was.
I think you made a mountain of great points there, Chaos. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, first, we have a ton of comments, so I want to jump into those too. We've got congrats to Chaos from Shad, of course. Nowhere Gamers Chronicles. He's a Republicaholic. He's back. It's been a long time. It's been a week. Cap Guy, that's me. Clark Taylor, shout out. Thank you. And then he added down here that he's got Drew versus Seth and Cody versus Roman versus Rock. And I've got a similar prediction. Now, Shad also added Seth has lost to Cody 3 times. I agree with all of those things. Here's where I'm going with this really quick. I think we're ending up with Sammy, 2 triple threats. Sammy, Seth, and Drew McIntyre. We give Drew his moment, or at least we think we do. Right at the beginning of night 1, Drew wins the world title in front of the big crowd, and Damian Priest cashes in and robs him so that Drew McIntyre can lean further into this heel character that has been so good. Not even heel, but the character that feels robbed, and he'll feel robbed once again. Where we go from there, I can't wait to see, but that's what I would like to see. And then on the other side, I'm going with that triple threat as well. I believe it's Rock, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. Main event night 2.
I've definitely said it from day that Damian Priest is going to be cashing in that briefcase in Mania. Everyone was saying Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. Now they need to do something again at WrestleMania with that briefcase to reestablish, because that thing is damaged with previous winners. So yeah, they need to do something big. Yeah, Priest for Mania. I agree.
I think it makes a ton of sense. Soul, so many options. Such an interesting opening segment and match last night. Your thoughts on the entire Cody, Rock, the world title picture, and the WWE title picture or Universal title picture, because I guess that's what we're discussing all at once. And at some level, isn't that kind of what The Rock does? We're talking about the entire WWE because it makes sense. I don't know. What do you think, Sol?
What, The Rock making it all about himself? They did it with Black Adam. Did it with, everything going on. He's doing it with Moana. He's the only live action person, the only person returning for the live action thing, and nobody else. Bang up job there, buddy. Look, here's the thing, right? Everyone's got their knickers in a twist, right? Everyone's like, we want Rock, we want Cody. I want Dynamite to come to get this special announcement because it's going to be absolutely amazing. I want something in life. But look, here's what everyone needs to do. Untwist your knickers, settle down, sleep in. I know these people don't work, so you just have to wait and do nothing until Thursday when the press conference happens. Because that's when we're going to get all the information out. Because we could either see Triple H be on the podium, Rock and Roman come out, they do a thing, and let's go crazy here. Let's say, like, Rock says, yes, I am challenging you for the title of Tribal Chief. Oh, that's their night one main event there. And night two is Cody challenging for his title of the WWE Universal Championship. So that's a way they could untwiddle this all. Rock is challenging for the title of Tribal Chief, and Cody is challenging for the title of itself of the WWE Universal Undisputed 24/7 cheddar cheese, whatever guacamole thing is fully called.
I-95.
That, yes. So, yeah, there's a way they could sort this. Or they could just do Seth and Cody at Mania. But then it makes me think, well, what's Elimination Chamber? They've got the Raw Women's Elimination Chamber. Are they going to do... They usually do two. So is another one going to be for, like, Seth's and Cody's going to be in it? Well, and then he's not going to use his Royal Rumble thing? Honestly, give it till Thursday, and if it's not bad, then we can all panic and start our hashtags and all that.
Agreed.
I hear that. I said it yesterday on yesterday's show. I want Cody Rhodes to finish the story and to tell the story. Hashtag we want Cody is a hashtag. It's not the story. And if it does get him into the match, that is awesome. But let's not get so hung up on like trying to recreate the Yes movement or we don't need to see a carbon copy of something we've seen in the past. And I think there's other avenues to get us to a spot where Cody finishing the story feels as big as it should feel. Not just because we expect it or because we want it or because as hardcore fans, we all see the history when it comes to his story. And that's why I think it's important that things like this happen. We got to a place where we were kind of complacent. The story wasn't really truly mentioned outside of in merch sales and off the show for nearly 9 months, right? He talked about the story more in the one promo he cut as he presented The Rock on a silver platter and shook his hand awkwardly than he did in 9 months. That was a 5-minute awkward promo in a mint suit. I got to give him credit for doing it. But either way, the facial expressions were great. Something has got to give. And I'm wondering if the plan was spun into place sooner than we thought. Maybe we doubted creative too much and overreacted in a way where the old cliche, let it play out, might make a little bit more sense on this one than I thought in the past. Because I think we're going to get a satisfying result for most of the parties involved. Because they're not taking The Rock out of this match either.
He's
not at this point.
Wrestling. He's 100% wrestling.
He's 100% suiting up and wrestling that night.
Yeah.
And there is an avenue where this can be solved. And I think it's funny that the immediate response was criticism as opposed to finding the solution or trying to think about how they could do this in a way where it feels like pro wrestling storytelling and it feels like it's supposed to. Cody Rhodes' story is the best story going in wrestling. The story itself, right? Given the history, Hall of Fame father, you look at one by one, right? Once it's told, though, it's already been told. You can't tell it twice. And that's something I think we can't lose sight of, because once it's told, where do you go from there? I think Cody will make a great champion carrying the title and all of that. But where do you go from there is different, because that's now off the table, right? And it's the most anticipated thing in all of pro wrestling. which is the game promotionally. And I think that's kind of the brilliance of this whole thing. We can't stop talking about it. It's amazing, right? I'm going overtime on this segment about it just because I'm all fired up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the whole point. Like, this is what they want. You know, everyone talking.
Wait
The
till
internet
Thursday.
exploded when this happened. Go on.
It did. It was great. Okay, let's talk about the tag match, though. Let's move on to our next. We got more stuff to talk about from Monday Night Raw. We have Do It Yourself. We've got the New Day. We've got the Creeds. It's a fatal 4-way. Let me make sure I get the last one right. It was Imperium. Yeah, Imperium was Giovanni Vinci back on Raw, which I love to see because I love Imperium as a tag team as much as Ludwig Kaiser kind of stood out during Giovanni's injury absence. I do love seeing them. DIY still does nothing for me, man. Not on the main roster. I loved them on NXT. It's such a great run. I love Gargano and Ciampa. But come on, man. I don't know. What are we doing here, Chaos?
This was quite a surprise to me when they won. I was totally expecting the Creed brothers to be doing this because they're the ones that was getting the biggest push out of them, out of all those four. And if arguably they put the better showing in that match. Yeah, they were both great. But the match itself as a whole was fun. It was, you know, what you would expect from a tag team match with the mixtures of chemistry in there. Imperium looked strong. New Day was being New Day. And obviously he had the typical spots, you know, the Tower of Doom and all the, you know, everyone's waiting outside before, you know, someone climbs the turnbuckle and does something, you know. He had this typical tropes for a multi-man tag team match. But yeah, DIY against Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. I'm here for it, but it kind of writes it that you know who's gonna win. I mean, well, I hope so, because I would love to see Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne against the Green Brothers. I think that would be a banger of a match than DIY. But yeah, DIY definitely has a lot of groundwork to make up on. Their main roster run has not been great as a tag team and individually. Something needs to give. I mean, they almost messed up the ending. Like Johnny Gargano went for the pin, and then Ciampa pushed him off and said, "No, I'm the legal guy." So, yeah, it was fine. It was a typical Raw match. Very surprised at the ending. Let's see how they do on Friday, and then but yeah, I'm hoping that Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate wins that match.
I am so with you on Dunn and Bate versus the Creed brothers. British strong style versus American freestyle. Come on, man. Or American folk style, whichever you'd like to bill it as. I love the whole thing. Like, that concept is just brilliant to me. And we got a ton of comments over here and good ones at that. Anthony Manzano, I know you asked a question earlier about the Ava stuff on Twitter. We'll probably talk about that on Off the Air tonight, which do tune in immediately following NXT. It'll be about 15 minutes after, or 5 minutes after NXT goes off the air. Same place, not same time, same place though. And then we've got a bunch of other comments here to add.
What's Shad saying?
J Hats 0319 added that the Creed brothers are so good. I couldn't agree more. The Creeds are awesome. And then Shad added Gargano is 7-11 nacho dispensers.
Is he wrong though? Is he wrong? I mean, I think the man is.
It never worked.
That is a funny one. That's pretty good. And then Nowhere's Gamers Chronicles added AEW has a better non-singles roster. I don't know, man. Roster comparison wise, I think they're both pretty loaded.
I like this guy.
We've had that discussion for a long time, like the roster stuff. I think both rosters are loaded. There's so much talent in pro wrestling right now. We can't even get all the way into that. But let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. And it's Becky and Shayna, so it's physical. We understand this is an Elimination Chamber qualifying match, so it's got to be physical. And at least I remember Shayna Baszler running through the Elimination Chamber would have obviously been a threat. I think it's hard to put her in another one if she doesn't choke out all 5 competitors like she did last time. So to me, when I saw this match booked, I was pretty confident Becky was going over. But Soul, I got to get your thoughts on our first qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber between Becky Lynch and Shayna
You
Baszler.
reminded me of that Elimination Chamber she was in, and that adds on to my point. Like when this was announced on the Instagram, like Adam Pearce comes like big match announcement. It was Shayna Baszler. I was like, oh, they're actually gonna build Shayna Baszler now against Becky Lynch. There it is. I was like, oh, come on. And like, I really like Shayna. She has like that cool Warhammer 40k gear she always like to bring out. She's got a great attitude and presence. Look at the stuff in NXT, and now look what she's doing. Like that Ronda feud that SummerSlam was meant to build her up didn't do anything. Like honestly, I don't want anyone to see their jaws, but I would love for Shayna to go somewhere else. Have her in a TNA against a Jordan Grace. Have her go to MLW and go against someone like Janai Kai. Have her go do blood sports or GCW and have that violent attitude for it. She's literally wasting away in WWE, and it's a pity to see. Look, I could say go to AEW or ROH, but honestly, go wherever, because I think Shayna could be a star wherever she goes. She's got that attitude. I mean, it's just a shame, man. I mean, why can't she do more? She has got the presence. She has got the star power. She has the history and the backing. And yes, I know she has some of the championship accolades within the WWE, like the NXT or the women's tag she did as well. She can do more and deserves more. I honestly would have done this whole Elimination Chamber with low-level individuals that, what I mean by that is people are not in the main event spot, like a Becky Lynch or like a Charlotte Flair. Have people in there like a Shayna Baszler or a Tegan Nox. Have some NXT call-ups in there like Sam Perez and Tiffany Stratton. Get people in there that can actually benefit for that match type. But I know where we're going. Becky's going to win this. Challenge Rhea at Mania. So that's it sorted. I don't need to see any more qualifying matches to see where this story's going.
That
Agreed.
is a great point, and that was, I think, my biggest personal trouble with this booking, because you look at Shayna Baszler's Elimination Chamber history. Even if you put her in the match as a threat, the matchup with Becky Lynch has to be in this match. It feels, I hate to say telegraphed again, but it just does there, and it's a shame, because I think Shayna's as good as anybody on the women's side of the roster in the ring. I mean, I love the catch wrestling style, move set, so unique compared to the rest of the WWE roster, right? You don't see that type of move set, especially now that no more Ronda, no more Marina Shafir, names like that, right? That might have a more grappling based mixed martial arts esque move set, and you add that Karafuda clutch with the Karafuda driver too. It's lethal. I don't understand what we're missing there. I do totally understand that Becky's got to win this, and it's got to be Becky Ripley. That makes
Definitely.
the most sense in the world.
Also, can I
ahead,
just
yes.
say as well that did anyone really get cringed out when they did that Malcolm in the middle talking to the camera thing before the match?
Yeah, weird.
That was weird as hell. Like
Super
it
weird.
is my destiny. I've got to beat Shayna, and you just nah. Don't do that again. WWE.
Not my thing. Yeah,
Let's don't do all the changes. Let's
not
stick
my
to what
thing.
we know, okay? Let's not go outside the field.
Definitely.
Also, we got another comment here from J Hats 0319, which is the manhandle slam looked a little bit off in the finish. I agreed.
The chemistry was off all that whole match. Like it was very telegraphed at certain times. It's like they just didn't want to be there at certain points. Yeah, but that manhandle slam was really weird.
That one was sketchy. Yeah, it is interesting, because I feel like the manhandle slam, as much as it very much is similar to the bookend and the rock bottom, the way that Becky delivers it, it seems that she lands on her knees.
Yeah.
Whereas when Booker T or The Rock would land flat, and I think there might have been some confusion there, Uranagi wise, because right, it is just a Uranagi, but you kind of go down with, essentially, right? That would be if you were naming them, if you had to specifically name the move. And I'm wondering if maybe there was some sort of, Shayna wasn't expecting her to try to go down to the knees the way she was, hung on a little longer. I don't know, but it was definitely funky. Or clunky, I guess I would say, more than anything else. Let's move on though to the next segment of today's show. We had the Kabuki Warriors versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter in a tag team match. It's always nice to see the Kabuki Warriors, I feel like, together in wrestling. Is this the way, though, we're rebuilding the women's tag division? Because I was under the impression that this was a SmackDown team. And I have no problem with the brand stuff. I have no problem with the other stuff besides that. So I gotta ask you, what do you think about the Kabuki Warriors and Carter and Chance last night, and the future of the women's tag belts?
Yes, notes. Where's my notes? Don't have any. Okay, right. I think the Kabuki Warriors are a great tag team. Don't get me wrong there. Asuka and Kairi kill it. No problems there. Loved them in the pandemic era. I loved their feud with Sasha and Bayley. I loved all that. But I really don't know where you can go with the women's tag team titles within WWE. There is just so much, with it that, like, I mean, when's the last time these were defended on WrestleMania, by the way? Was it 38? The one where Cody returned? Was that something they did there? Because I know they had like multiple women tag teams come out. I don't know if that was for the titles.
Wasn't it the year before when they had when the arena was like half full?
Yeah.
And Mandy Rose slipped.
Oh my God, was it that? Oh
yeah.
Oh no. Honestly, I don't expect these to be on the WrestleMania card like they were last year. And Becky and Lita held them last year. If anything, that should have been a match. That should have been, and don't get me wrong, I like the match that they did instead, but if they're just there, right? And I don't fully expect them to be on WrestleMania this year. I don't. If anything, pre-show, 0 hour or whatever, it's going to be on there. Honestly, just retire them. Just retire them. You can get Kairi and Asuka in the singles division. Carter and Chant. I mean, I don't know what to do. Honestly, I would just retire them. Just retire them outright. Have either Kairi and Asuka just drop them in the bin one day, or leave them in luggage, like TSA claims it, and then it's like, well, we can't get them back. The fine's too high. Okay, cool. We'll just leave them there. Or, like I always said, have a big dominant heel like a Nia Jax, or a heel Raquel Gonzalez, or somebody of that caliber. Have a women's championship and be like, you know what? I want to make it mine. I want to absorb it. So I'm going to challenge, say, the Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. You have the titles. I'm going to do a 2-on-1 handicap, and I want your titles on the line. And Raquel wins them, like what Samoa Joe had in TNA when he had the X Division and the 2 tag titles, and then Kurt Angle had it as well. Have that, but have her absorb them into the championship she has. So that gives it even more like a dominating title reign. Have that, because honestly, right now, the only thing there's good about them is they're good-looking belts, and they might sell 2 on the shop.
I hear you on. I get the complaints. It was an extreme complaint, but I do understand. We do have an awesome suggestion here from Jay Hats 00319, which is, do they make Jade a tag team with someone instead of going for the women's championship to bring new life into the division? That I wouldn't hate. And there are a lot of good candidates to pair with Jade Cargill. That could be actually really cool. The way that Jade sort of made the TBS championship over in AEW, I think that's doable. You go on a big streak.
A lot of people will have backlash with that because I can't see her. In everyone's eyes, that will feel like somewhat of a demotion. She should be someone that should be going. I can see where you're going though. Have like a dominant her and Bianca. I don't know, maybe Nia Jax, maybe like 2 big.
I was even thinking someone from NXT, like
Nikita Lyons. No, I'm joking. I'm playing.
Well, honestly, I would not hate that, but I mean, heck, Lash Legend, Kalani Jordan. There's a lot of good talent in NXT as well to pair with that. I think could be
new baddies in it. Yeah, she could have like her own baddies.
Yeah, similar to like the group, and really actually Shad's cracking me up in the comments. No, her and Bianca need a feud. After that,
call back to what Cena and Michaels had going into the WrestleMania. They won the tag titles and then lost them. So You could have Jade and Bianca team up and be like, braided chicks or something like that, and you're like, that's the tag team name. Oh, we could sell some merch, like what Y2AJ with Jericho and AJ, and then do all the merch and all that, make them win titles, go on wee bit of a reign, and then concludes.
Just have a rivalry as long as the titles go somewhere that makes sense, right? Yeah. I just the division has to be built, and I think given your complaints earlier too, so like to your point, I think that if the division isn't built, it just makes it unfair to the performers. They're having to try to carry it, right? You got to build up the division in some way. Okay, let's move on to a segment that I totally unintentionally skipped, which is totally why I messed up tossing it to Soul on the last one. And let's talk about the R-Truth Judgment Day, Miz and JD fiasco. We had t-shirt money involved. We had R-Truth comedy. We had professional wrestling. I enjoyed this. I love it. It was pure entertainment. This is the type of sports entertainment that is just fun every now and again. A breath of fresh air, a breather during all the action, just time to laugh because all of it was funny. R-Truth is funny. His comedic genius never gets old. And of course, it looks like we're getting back to maybe an Awesome Truth reunion, like a full-blown reunion and maybe a tag title run. Speaking of revitalizing tag divisions, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Chaos, how did you feel about all of it? And where were Tom and Nick Mysterio when we needed them?
I know, right? Goodness sake, unreliable. I say this every time, if it's my turn to talk about R-Truth, and I say this every time. I'm going to say it again. God, I love R-Truth. This guy is absolute comedic gold. They're using him. They're utilizing him perfectly. This man is awesome. Way better comic relief way better than his 24/7 championship runs. This is I think right now, but this is his peak right now since Little Jimmy. That segment in the back when it was his segment in the back where he was with Judgment Day, and Finn just walked off like, I can't deal with this. You deal with it, Damien. And then Damien just looked at him and was just like, screw it, make yourself at home. That was beautiful. That was absolutely like he is finally in somewhat. And then the match itself, I mean, I'll be honest, I do not care for JD McDonough. I didn't really care for him when he was in NXT. I didn't really care for him now. So this match, especially when you pair him up against the Miz, match wise, Miz is it can either be good or it can be very meh. And them two together, it just didn't do it for me. So it was kind of in the background. But I was when R-Truth came out, did his stuff, handing the t-shirts to the crowd. Loved it. And then he tried to dress Dominic Mysterio. And then obviously he paid for that. And then he finally gave JD his cut of the shirt sales. And then JD was just like, yeah, all right, cool, I'll take it. And then the visual when he hit the skull crushing finale and the money just went in the air. Beautiful visual. That was great from JD. I give him that though. That was a good visual. And for a tag team title run, I would not rule that out. I didn't really have that in my head until you actually mentioned it. See the Awesome Truth as the ones that take the titles from them. I mean, it just shows that R-Truth is either very stupid, very delusional, or is very smart. So I could definitely see that happening. When that will happen, maybe you could probably give him his WrestleMania moment, and then Damian Priest and Finn Balor loses the titles, but Damian Priest comes out because usually the winner, the person that cashes in the Money in the Bank, they usually lose their match earlier in the night usually. So you could definitely do that, and then run it back just like how Seth cashed in his Money in the Bank. So overall, I'm loving this thing. Let's give him a title run. He definitely deserves it, 110%.
I think so too, and I'm honestly even wondering if they do it on the SmackDown before Mania and have that main event, that show, and then you open with if the Sammy Drew Seth triple threat thing that I said comes true, you open with that, and then Priest cashes in out of the gates. Just start with a bang, because what you don't want, I feel like, is if you put that world title match and the cash in towards the end of the show, you'll get comparisons to the Seth thing, when Seth cashed in. And I don't think that's what you want. You want to start off with a bang, have the Drew moment for half a second. Music hits, Priest cashes in, holds the belt up high, steals the moment, perfect for the character, and then it moves on from there. Either way, I think it could be outstanding. And then we've got Shad and Nowhere Gamers Chronicles having a debate about Bianca Belair in the chat. That's comedy, guys. Bianca Belair's great. Either way, that's my opinion. But
she's all right. No, I'm joking. I'm playing.
Bianca's
no,
the best.
Whoa. We've already got another war going on with the Twitter space. We don't need another one, Chaos. For God's sake,
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
That escalated so quickly. Let's talk about Gunther's big 600-day celebration. Interrupted by Mr. Main Event Jey Uso. Interesting-ish, I thought, but I had one little complaint. So the best we've had a lot of tag team discussion over the last few segments here. The best tag rivalry in WWE over the last decade is the New Day and the Usos. And the New Day save him? They're just friends with him now? Like they just suddenly trust the guy? They're like, you know what? Even though we fought all those years, now that you're doing the yeet thing and wearing blue instead of red, I'm in. And it's like, no, man. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. I love the New Day and I love the Usos. But when you have rivals like that, we don't get Randy Orton running down to save John Cena, right? Like, it's not like The Rock was going to be running down to save Stone Cold. Like, we don't do that. It's a classic rivalry, and it's neither here nor there. I understand Jay's trying to be a baby face, and he's been a baby face, and he's been a good one. But I don't think that means everyone should automatically trust him. I don't get it. I don't know. Soul, how did you feel about it?
So this is going to be a bit controversial. I don't want Jay dethroning Gunther. I don't. I really don't. I think you have the perfect story here for the person to dethrone Gunther, and that is Tyler Bate. Look at the history. Tyler Bate and Gunther, when he was Walter, the artist formerly known as Walter, why would you go against that kind of story there? Tyler Bate lost the NXT UK Championship to Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne then lost it to Walter. You could do a wee program with Pete Dunne and Walter, but I think Tyler Bate, that match at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff that they had was stellar. So capitalize on that. The young man going against the Overlord, the veteran guy, the all-knowledge general, have that happen. Now, yes, if they do have Jay take off Gunther at Elimination Chamber, okay, it's not the end of the world, but it could add on to the stakes of Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso for the Intercontinental Championship. And I honestly think it could be a rivalry that will add on to the title, plus with Gunther's reign, because whoever takes after Gunther's reign has a lot of pressure on them to help maintain the status of the Intercontinental Championship, because that pretty much became like the second World Championship while Roman held the other one hostage for a good while. So, yes, they could do Jey Uso as the Intercontinental Champion against Jimmy at WrestleMania, but I wonder if the pressure of maintaining the reputation of the belt will be too much for that.
That is a good point. I mean, I still thought we were getting Jay and Jimmy at this Mania, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think they should. Look, if they want to do Jay and Gunther, do it Elimination Chamber. Just don't do it Mania.
That makes the most sense. Yeah. It just, to me, that's where I'm like, where we gotta go.
I swear Gunther can't travel due to visa issues.
Maybe is a fair point. If they can't, then just ignore my booking. Then I'm gonna go in the bad corner with all the other bad bookings.
Okay. Now, also, by the way, I am gonna say, I presented a question earlier, and as our resident two best WWE 2K players that we have on the Wrestling Republic roster, I know that. I have to ask you guys, because Ben, I said we saw last year, 90 overall Jey Uso, 89 Jimmy. And I said, are we going to see something similar this year? And Ben said he could see 91 or 2 overall Jey and 80 overall Jimmy. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I agree.
I
He's
don't think
definitely
that's
the
right.
bad apple in this one. He's been sucking all year. Nah, yeah, definitely 80.
I would put Jey as a 93 and Jimmy at least an 85.
Yeah, I think
All
Jimmy
right, 85.
I was going to say 87 and 92, but I really like that call. Also,
Yeah.
Chaos, I got to ask you, Gunther, is it Gunther Jey at Elimination Chamber? And who is Gunther's Mania opponent? We've talked so much about both world titles. We forget about this reign, 600 days. Who's the Mania opponent?
Yeah, no, I do think that I don't think Gunther's going to be at Elimination Chamber due to visa issues. So I feel like for the men's one, same as what they did, was it last year? Yeah, I say do an Elimination Chamber for whoever wins gets to face Gunther at Mania, and then have Jey participate, and then do something similar to when Logan Paul interfered in that match and caused Seth to be eliminated. Have Jimmy interfere in that match and cause Jey to be eliminated, and then that's how you probably set up their match. Because I was hoping that something would happen at Mania, but that they only had like a little interaction at the beginning. So for this, I think if we are gonna get Jimmy and Jey match at Mania, which we absolutely should, the Elimination Chamber is the best place to do it, with them fighting for a spot, or Jey fighting for a spot to face Gunther at Mania. I don't want to see Gunther and Jey be at Mania. I don't think that's. It's sure if you want to give him his Mania moment, but there's plenty of other matches that's going to have Mania moments. You don't necessarily need to throw everything on this card. So he will get his moment later down in the year, probably maybe SummerSlam, maybe, or wherever, for a singles title. But yeah, I agree. He's not the person to be dethroning Gunther. I still feel it's Chad Gable, but even that is so far away now. There's been no talk about that or even any hint of that. Like he was the perfect person.
Yeah.
If not him, the second person will be Sheamus, because he was obviously campaigning. That's the only title that he hasn't won. And well, obviously I don't know how his injury situation is,
Right.
but them two are the only worthy opponents, in my opinion, to face Gunther, to dethrone him as Intercontinental Champion. So I don't think Jay's gonna get any seat. You see that later down the line, but yeah, I agree. He's not the person to throw him. I hope not. It's just not him. No.
I agree on Jey isn't the guy to dethrone Gunther, and we've got a bunch of comments too involving the same thing. Jay has 0319 added Braun Breaker.
Braun's a decent shout.
Yeah.
Or maybe Carmelo Hayes and a Trick Williams feud on the main roster.
Mello, maybe. I don't hate it. Jamie's 2001 added Braun Breaker. Coach 23 added that Jimmy and Jey said they wanted a WrestleMania match against each other with their retirement match. They said it in an interview with Ariel Helwani. I don't know. I wouldn't take that necessarily at face value. Charlie Esparza added Braun Breaker as well. And then Unrealized Thoughts added Jey versus Gunther at EC, but Jimmy costs Jey. Now we're talking. I dig that idea. I'm all for that. Set up that rivalry. He added Jey versus Gunther at Elimination Chamber, but Jimmy costs Jey.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he said, Gunther's reign is historical. You can't just have anybody beat him. I don't think Jay's just anybody, but I do understand that. We also had an interesting comment here from Anthony Manzano. He added, he's got Jimmy at 84 and Jey at 87. The 90s are reserved for guys like Roman, Cody, Seth, and Becky. I'm not even sure about that, though, because Jey was a 90 last year, and you had Jimmy at 89.
You're forgetting Lesnar. You're forgetting Taker. You're forgetting flipping. Who else was a 90? No, Muhammad Ali might be a 90. You never know. It doesn't.
Muhammad Ali's going to be off the scale, man. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's not reserved for them. That doesn't matter. Yeah, Jay is definitely he's the most over one out of them too. So yeah, he's definitely going to be in the 90s.
But by the way, J Hats 0319 added something I said on Off the Air on Sunday. Obafemi, or I think he meant Obafemi. He said Obi, but I think he meant Obafemi, and that I'm all for. Obafemi is different kind of talent. That guy is going to the moon in a minute.
Lay it down the lead line.
Physically, that stare down between him and Gunther, I'd sign up for the stare down, not just the match. That is, you can put that on a poster for sure. It would be absolutely delightful. I'm all for it. But with that, it does bring us to the end of today's show. On behalf of me, Clark Taylor, the always great Soul, and the host of Take It to the Table, Chaos, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do. We appreciate all the comments. We appreciate everything from everybody. If you have no plans on Tuesday night, merely a few hours from now, me, Shot and Jersey on Off the Air, immediately following WWE NXT. That'll be at 7:15 over here on the West Coast. It's going to be 10:15 on the East Coast. That's 9:15 Central. And that's in the middle of the night over in the UK. And then, of course, for tomorrow, daily broadcast, same time, same place, noon Pacific, 3 on the East Coast, 2 Central, and that's 8 in the UK. And, of course, 9 a.m. in Hawaii. Everybody have an excellent Tuesday wherever you are. Thank you so much for